Yo, what's up, guys? This is Creature Play, and welcome to my very first YouTube video. I don't know really what this YouTube channel is going to be about. Kind of just decided one day that I wanted to start doing Madden reviews. I usually get asked on the subreddit about how certain specific players play, and decided this would be something new to try out. So I figured, why not? Let's do it. I want to apologize firsthand. I didn't really plan on doing this, so I don't have a expensive or high quality mic, but I'm probably going to grab a snowball pretty soon if I decide to continue doing these videos. I also want to just let everyone know I got a couple videos coming up after this one. Reese is just going to be my first review. I've been working on gathering a couple clips for a few different people. Like for instance, I use Honors JJ Watt on my defense out of position. I use him as a defensive tackle. A lot of people have been asking how he plays, so I've got one coming up on him. I'm also doing one on this Eric Berry, the Honors Eric Berry 98 overall. And then I've also got a bunch of clips already saved up on who I think is the best wide receiver in the game, even more so than Boss Calvin, who I had, this Andre Johnson. I've also started working on this Antonio Gates boss card as well that I pulled. Anyway, let's get here to Reece. Reece is a 93 overall fullback. You've got the base stats right there, everybody already knows about. 89 speed, 90 catch, which gets boosted up to 95 from my 97 long style. 82 run block, 90 trucking, 86 stiff arm, which is pretty accurate. And he does also add 10 long pass, which I think is the highest for fullback. It's more than the 7 or 8 that most offer anyway. Here's some of his other stats. He offers 95 acceleration. His carrying is at 91. Pass blocking is at 68, which is pretty important for a fullback as well, which does get boosted up by 5 from my over 90 long pass style, so that takes that up to 72. He's also got 84 impact block, which it definitely shows. I've got a couple of clips of that I'm going to pull up. He's got 90 stamina. I didn't have any issues with his stamina at all. I haven't either, and I've had him for months. The only time I've really had him ever pulled is if you run fullback dives over and over, if you're doing like a solo challenge or something where he's just getting ran, 4 or 5 times in a row, then finally your second will get pulled in. One of his most important stats is his catch in traffic, which is at 88, which doesn't seem that crazy, but I can say that he plays well above that rating. This video was done on Saturday, March 5th, so prices may be different depending on when you're watching this. But as of yesterday, from when I'm making this video, there were a few of him up in the auction house, and he goes from anywhere, let's just ballpark at around 190,000, which is still what he goes for, even with the little crash today. With that, here's some of his clips. First off is his run blocking. What he does really well, he's got great awareness. He's really good at undercutting if he needs to pick up a block. I didn't have any issues with him where I've had some fullbacks where they don't really know who they're supposed to be blocking, but it seems like every time he's out on an out or even on the inside, he immediately knows where to go or who to pick up. Even if it's a defensive tackle or end that gets through, he's still on it. And his speed is a big part of that because he's always able to get out there with his acceleration as well. He's always in front of the block. Another thing he does great is pancakes. You can see there, doesn't matter if it's a linebacker or whoever. He doesn't do it all the time, but I'd say 1 out of every 3 or 4 times you run with him, he's going to get a pancake. He does break a lot of tackles, more so than I thought. I'd say it's about comparable, or actually more than that Poe, who I've also used as well. You can see right here, this is one of the crazy ones I had, and he does get a lot of those animations on his own without you having to stiff arm or do anything. He does get those animations that a lot of those power backs get, like this where you can see he'll truck out of a tackle. Right here is a really good example of his agility. Like, you can see how quickly he cut back in. He was supposed to be going out to the left outside, and he cut in pretty easily, I'd say. Right here, I decided to test his stiff arming. That was one of the only animations I got where he does that, kind of that boss stiff arm. For the most part, if you do stiff arm with him, he's not going to break out of the tackle after the stiff arm. He's going to get that animation right there. You see where he fights for a few extra yards, like 4 or 5. He stiff arms, but the guy still ends up bringing him down at the end. But I mean, it's still extra yards that you wouldn't have gotten if you wouldn't have stiff arm. And you can see there, he's got great strength. I mean, he threw that dude on his back. Right here, he stiff arms, but he comes down, but he still got a couple extra yards from that strength as well. Another thing that he does great is he almost always falls forward. Even if he gets tackled before he gets to where the quarterback is or the line of scrimmage, he falls forward, gives you that extra 2 to 3 yards almost every single time that he gets tackled, especially on the inside is where you see it the most, which is really important on those clutch plays, on your 3rd and 1, your 4th and 1 if you go for it, on those fullback dives. You've got a pretty great chance of completing that down conversion. I'd say probably 3 out of 4 times. I was kind of messing around here, as you can see, just to test out his carrying. I didn't have him fumble once in actual gameplay, but even doing these stupid jumps right here where I was actually trying to make him fumble, he still didn't fumble. So it's not something that you're going to have to worry about, even if you are spinning or juking, which does bring us to what I think he does absolutely best, and that is his receiving. This dude is a monster at receiving. He gets spectacular animations that I've seen that 99 Odell get before. Catching in traffic, route running, I mean, he does it all. His route running can obviously be a little crisper, but for a fullback, there's nothing to complain about. Right there you can see double coverage. He still comes down with it. Before I used him as a receiver, I wasn't even aware that fullbacks could get these types of animations that he's getting. I mean, you can see right here, that's a pretty crazy animation, I'd say, even for a wide receiver, let alone a fullback. Back to the catching in traffic, he really doesn't have an issue. He comes down with it, I'd say, 8 out of 10 times. He's really great at holding onto the ball, even after he gets tackled immediately from jumping up or throwing it directly into coverage. As you can see right there, he's got a great jump ball as well, so if you want to throw high passes to him, he'll come down with it fairly often. This was one of the craziest catch in traffic ones. I mean, 4 guys on him, and he still came down with it and held it with no issue. He also actually got up on that play, which was kind of weird as well. This is one of the last ones I've got. This was one of the craziest special ones, in between 2 guys covering him, and he still came down with it with no issue. Like I said, it's not so much that it's a crazy catch, which is the crazy part, but it's a fullback that's making that. And that is why I think that Reece is the best fullback in the game. Granted, I haven't used that DeMarco, the 98 positional hero, but I've checked their stats and it didn't seem like worthwhile to me. And he also isn't my style, which I care about more than I probably should. But overall, I would give Reece as my vote for the best fullback in the game. He does it all. If I had to pick one bad thing about him, I guess I really can't think of anything. He does drop a couple passes, obviously. He's not perfect, but nobody is in this game. But other than that, he definitely gets an A+ from me. So that was it. I am sure that I said too much. I'm sure I also did other stupid things. This is the first YouTube video I've ever made. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave it in the comments. Subscribe also as well if you'd like to see further reviews of players that I have or even don't have but can pick up. Leave it in the comments, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks again for watching, guys.